We're at that time of the year where spring sports are just getting ready to get underway, and we head into the final month of the college basketball season. And here on Inside EKU Sports, we'll talk both today, beginning with women's basketball. And this is A. Queen Hayes playing well. You're averaging 15.4 points, 8.4 rebounds. And I really love the way as a guard you rebound the basketball. That takes a mentality. Talk to me about that.
Yes, sir. It started my freshman year. I remember my freshman year, it was during a practice. I was going up against a post player, and I remember one of my coaches hollering out, "She too little," you know, and I ended up scoring the ball or doing something. I looked over at the coach. I was like, "Nah, she too little." So ever since then, I just kind of carried this big man heart, you know, this big post player heart, but I'm really not, you know.
They put you down on the post a lot. You started your career at Ole Miss, now at EKU, and you seem to be able to be, you're not a perimeter player. You're a player that gets in the paint and scores.
Yes, that's my game. I mean, catch me at the post and I can do something with it. I'm trying to get my mid-range and my three-point game right, so that way they can't guard me out there either.
The team lost a tough one against Murray, and so now you're tied with Murray for 8th. There's a couple of teams just a game ahead of you, but you know with 8 games left, you've already played 10, that it's time to get wins because you've got to get in the top 8 to make the tournament.
Yeah, it's time to buckle down. I mean, we have no time for slip-ups, no time for breaks. I mean, we got to work these last couple games. I know we got a tough one, Belmont, coming up, so if we can get that one, that'll be a huge one for us.
35 straight games Belmont has won in the conference, just blasted Vanderbilt, 111-74. They're getting votes in the AP top 25. If you extrapolate it out, they're 27th in the country. What's Coach told you about what you have to do against Belmont?
They're just disciplined. They're very disciplined, so we got to lock in fundamentally and discipline. You know, we got to be able to guard their best players, guard them out on the perimeter. They like to take deep shots, you know. We just got to be ready.
It seems like the team has really played good defense of late. It's the offense where, outside of your point production, that the team has suffered a little bit. But defense can win basketball games.
Yeah, we got to get these shots to fall. We're getting a lot of open looks, a lot of great looks. We're just not able to knock them down all the time, including myself. You
grew up in Horn Lake, Mississippi, not far from Memphis. Your name is A''Queen. I love the name, and it is A Queen, even though a lot of people say a Queen. How did you get that name? Where did it come from?
I'm the only girl. I got 3 brothers. I'm the only one. So when it was finally my turn, my mom was like, "Oh yeah, that's my queen," and my dad was like, "No, she's my jewel." So they kind of put together A Queen Jewel, and that's how they got me.
I love it. So you told me once, because when a lot of people pronounce it wrong, and I started pronouncing it wrong, you said they put that apostrophe in there for a reason, A Queen.
Yeah, it's apostrophe, and then they both capitalized, so hey, you got to say it how you read it.
There you go. What's your goal individually? I know you've led this team, but individually, you said you want to get your shot better, but what's the goal from here to the end of the season? And hopefully the end of the season is somewhere, you know, in the tournament in Evansville.
Individually, I really don't have an individual goal. My goal for the rest of the year, I just want to be able to make postseason play. I want to make a tournament. I want to be able to say I won a championship. You know, that's really what I want.
5 double-doubles out of the 10 conference games. It's always good to get a double-double.
And I'm looking for more.
Triple-double someday, right?
I was close to it one game. I didn't know. I ended up finding out after a game. They was like, "Oh yeah, you was about 4 or 5 or 6 assists away from a triple-double." I was like, "Oh, if I would have known, I would have pushed for it." But it's okay. I got plenty of time.
All right. Good luck the rest of the season, A Queen.
Thank you.
A Queen Hayes. By the way, she does lead the team in assists as well as points and rebounds. She's great to watch, and you can watch the men and women. They'll play their next 4 games at home. It begins with a doubleheader against Belmont on Thursday. The women's game begins at 5:30. The men at 8 against the Bruins, and then Saturday against the Tigers of Tennessee State. The women tip at 4:30, and the men at 7. You can catch all the action, our radio call, and also the OBC Digital Network. Link to that at EKUsports.com. The women are on Y92.5 FM, and the men at 100.7 FM. When we come back, there are Colonels setting records, not only on the court or the field, but in the classroom.
Every day is a concept that few people can commit to. Every day requires a level of dedication that forces you to test your limits.
Every day I'll give back to the community because I draw strength from their support. Every day the sounds of your cheers will echo through my mind. Knowing that you have my back means I can always look forward.
Every day I'll be too tired to sweat and my bones will ache. Every day will provide me with the slight edge that I need to succeed. Champions are built every day.
One hit high and deep.
Back of the end zone. Brown got it.
Moore drives inside, put it up.
This one swung and missed it.
Now Smith again, block, point tech.
Nice turnaround by Johnson.
Near post. Kick in.
Any place, anytime. Find it here. The OVC Digital Network.
We call them student athletes for a reason. They're students first and athletes second. And Steve Lochmueller is the athletics director at EKU, and we're here to talk to him about that important part, the academics part. For 12 straight semesters combined, all teams and the student athletes of over 300 have come in with a GPA of over 3, and we set a record this fall. Let me read it off: 3.128. That's something to be awful proud of.
Oh, it absolutely is, Greg. And when we talk about it, these are really students first that happen to have the opportunity to play athletics. And so for them to be able to come here to this institution and get the proper education for the future, for what they're going to want to be when they graduate, and then to be able to participate in athletics as well, and to be able to come above a 3.0 is just, it's so enriching and so pleasurable for me, because these are young men and young women, and these are the leaders of the future.
When you played two sports when you were in college.
Tried anyway.
You tried, and and I worked full time in radio television when I was in college, and like an athlete, I can tell you that time management, that's the skill everybody learns, and I hear it from athlete after athlete after athlete, that being good at academics helps you be a better athlete.
Oh, no, absolutely. And without time management, these young men and young women would not make it. There's so many things that they have to do for their academic situation here at the institution, as well as the practices and film and community things that they're, have to be a part of. So, and study hall. I mean, they have to go to study hall. It's required. And this is all good. This is all good because it makes them know the time management piece at an earlier age, versus I was never a regular student. There were times I wanted to be, but if you're a regular student and mom and dad's not here to look over your shoulders, i.e. a coach, time management may not be important.
The Bratsky Center is where the student athletes go for academic help and the study hall. There are tutorial services in many different ways across campus for all students. But for the athletes, how important is it that we have the Bratsky Center and they get the help there, located in Alumni Coliseum?
Oh, it's absolutely an outstanding facility run by Monica. She and her staff do an excellent job, and it happens to be inside of Alumni Coliseum at this time, which is very close to the Whitlock building, which is where some of the other students, regular students that are not athletes, have the opportunity to go. So, no, I think every student, it's important for them to get some guidance, get some help, and be able to have someone to reach out when they're struggling in something.
We talk about batting averages and field goal percentages in sports and all that, but the statistics academically that jump out at me, more than 2/3 of the student athletes have a GPA over 3.0, and there were 56 athletes, 56 that had a 4.0 GPA this past semester.
Oh, I know it. And 13 teams had over a 3.0. I mean, the statistics that these young men and young women are responsible for from an academic perspective, they take it serious. And we in the athletic department take it serious. And so we're so proud when they continue to set records. And it's really, really makes you feel good, especially when a young man or a young woman is getting their education at Eastern and getting a good education at Eastern.
All right, well said. Good to see you, Steve. Appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me on, Greg.
All right, Stephen Lochmueller with us. And when we come back, we're going to talk about one of the spring sports already underway, Rob Oertel on tennis.
At EKU, you'll learn to take a broader view of your world. But we also understand it's the details that shape the big picture. So go ahead, play with fire, think on your feet, or touch the sky. Here, you'll be a part of something new, something big, something beautiful. Be a Colonel. Your time is now.
We are more than just athletes. We inspire scholars. We inspire leaders. We inspire champions. We inspire family. This is the Ohio Valley Conference.
Well, the tennis seasons are underway for the EKU men and women, and Rob Oertel in his 17th year as coach is with us. Busy season. You were telling me the women play at home. The men are at Virginia Tech for 2 matches, and then at Virginia Friday and Saturday. You'll be with the men. First time you've kind of split them up.
Yeah, it's a rare time. I couldn't turn down the match that Arkansas State wanted to come this way, and just turned out I already had Virginia scheduled to go on that trip. So we're gonna leave Kirsten Lewis, my GA, here with the ladies, and she'll do a great job. She's one of the best GAs I've ever had, very responsible. So she'll do fine here, and then myself and Carlos Pons, my assistant, will go with the guys because they got a full slate this weekend with 3 matches out in Virginia.
Let's talk about the women first. Picked to win the Ohio Valley Conference out of 10 teams, runner-up last year. You have 8 players from 8 different countries. I love your cultural diversity. Yeah. And do you think we can get it done?
Whew, that's the million-dollar question. The experience is there. That's the good thing. I got 2 new transfers in. No freshmen. Last year we lost in the final, and most of those girls returned, 6 of them. So I've added 2 experienced girls to this group, and I think that's why we were picked the preseason favorite. And I'm very optimistic. Our doubles was one of our weaknesses last year, and the 2 new girls we brought in are really solid doubles players, so we upped our doubles level big time. And our depth is as good as it's ever been on the ladies' side in all the years of all my pretty solid teams. The depth is as good as any year I've had.
On the men's side, picked to finish second, a runner-up as well in the OVC tournament last year.
Yeah, we were runners-up. That was a rough championship Sunday last year, losing in the final with both teams. But this year, men's team is a lot younger. And a lot of time those preseason polls, they go by what you did last year, and they don't even hardly look at what you got coming in with the coaches right now. So we got a young team on the guy, a good mix, but added some good young, youthful guys that are young and hungry. So it's going to be an interesting year with the guys, and a big weekend this weekend, just getting some match experience for those new guys.
Playing Virginia Tech and James Madison on Friday, then over to Virginia on Saturday. You have played DePaul, Purdue, Kentucky, had a couple of wins at home, one of them over Northern Kentucky. So you're not backing down from the big names in tennis.
No, I like to have a good mix in our schedule, and I like to play the tough ones early. So, you hope it feels easier as the season goes on if you play the tough ones early. Might not help your win-loss record sometimes early playing these tough teams, but it always works out in the end usually for you, because you want to try to make the conference weeks as for the players psychologically, for them to make it feel like it's as easy as possible for them. And you play the tough teams now, and then there's no fear of the unknown for them because they've played the best teams.
The cultural diversity I talked about, I love it. I travel a lot, and I just find that when you mix cultures, that it's a great learning experience. And you said make sure everybody speaks good English, they're good students, and to me that you've created a learning experience for everybody by doing it this way.
Yeah, it's a great learning experience for all of them, and they all feed off each other, and they all learn about their different cultures, and it's such a great atmosphere at our tennis center. with all these players from all these different countries, and with a unified goal of trying to win the conference title, and you get them all to work together. And yeah, it's very exciting to have those different cultures.
When's OVC play start?
Oh, this is just when we get back from spring break, which is the second weekend of March.
Good luck. Let's go get some championships this year in the Ohio Valley Conference. You've done it before. I know we can do it again.
I look forward to the challenge. It's going to be great.
All right, thanks. Rob Oertel. Now, by the way, the women Saturday 10 a.m. match over at the Adams Tennis Center, and then Lindsey Wilson will come up on Tuesday. And that does it for another edition of Inside EKU Sports. You can keep up with Kirtle Athletics wherever you are by following our channels on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next week.